Lost. Until a stranger found me. The rain had just begun to fall when I realized I had nowhere left to go. New York's streets, usually buzzing with life, felt like a wilderness that night. The lights blurred in the downpour, taxis splashing water on sidewalks, and people rushing past with umbrellas, each with a destination everyone but me. My suitcase was stolen a week ago. My last paycheck had vanished paying for a bed in a dingy hostel, where even the walls seemed to sigh with hopelessness. And now, I stood at the corner of 42nd and 8th, soaked to the bone, hungry, and clutching the only thing I had left, an old photo of my mother back in Mexico. She had sent me here believing I would make something of myself. But all I had made was a mess. I was lost. Not just in the city. In life. The stranger. I ducked into a closed subway entrance to escape the rain. My legs trembled not from the cold but from exhaustion. That's when I heard a voice. "You all right, man?" I looked up. He wasn't dressed like the others rushing through Manhattan in suits and polished shoes. His jacket was old, frayed at the edges. His beard was patchy, his eyes carrying the kind of weight you don't find in someone young. He was maybe in his late 30s, African American, with a quiet steadiness about him. "I'm fine," I lied. He smirked. "Nobody standing in a subway entrance at midnight, shaking like that, is fine." I wanted to ignore him, but there was something disarming about his tone. Not pity, just honesty. "I lost my job," I finally admitted. "And my place. And everything else, I guess." He studied me for a moment before nodding. "Name's Marcus," he said, extending his hand. I hesitated, then shook it. "Diego." "Shelter." Marcus led me to a church basement on 12th Avenue. It wasn't much, folding chairs stacked in corners, the faint smell of coffee lingering, but it was warm. A few other men slept on cots, their snores echoing softly. "You can crash here tonight," Marcus said, handing me a blanket. "Place runs a food line in the mornings. I've been coming around here since I lost some things of my own." He didn't explain further, and I didn't ask. For the first time in days, I closed my eyes without fear of being chased out, robbed, or worse. Confessions. Over the next week, Marcus and I grew close. He taught me how to find free meals around the city, which shelters didn't ask too many questions, and how to keep from getting caught in the endless traps of New York's streets. One night, while sharing a cup of watery coffee outside the shelter, I asked, "How do you end up here?" He leaned back, looking up at the skyscrapers glowing against the night sky. "Used to be a carpenter. Had a wife, kid, the whole thing. Then one mistake. DUI. Cost me my license, my job. Wife left. Kid stopped calling. Lost the house. You know how it goes." I swallowed hard. His voice was steady, but the cracks were there if you listened closely. "I'm sorry," I said. He shrugged. "Life doesn't care if you're sorry. But people do. Sometimes that's enough." An unexpected chance. It was Marcus who pushed me to go to a day labor site in Queens. Men lined up at dawn, hoping to get picked for construction work, landscaping, anything. I almost didn't go. But Marcus said, "You got hands. Use 'em. One day could change everything." He was right. That day, a contractor picked me for demolition work. By nightfall, my muscles ached, but I held 80 in my hand, the first money I'd earned in weeks. I bought Marcus and myself burgers, the grease soaking through the paper bag, and we laughed like kids as we ate on a park bench. For the first time, hope flickered. The twist. Weeks turned into months. I managed to get steady work with the contractor. Nothing glamorous, but honest. I started saving, even talking to my mother again on cheap phone cards. Marcus, though, didn't he come around as much. Some nights he vanished. When I asked, he brushed me off. One evening, I found him behind the shelter, hunched against the wall, eyes glazed. A used needle lay by his foot. My stomach dropped. Marcus. I shook him, panicked. His head lolled, then he blinked, trying to focus. "Don't look at me like that," he muttered. "You think I'm your hero, not, man. I'm just a broken piece trying to look whole." I didn't know what to say. That night, I barely slept. The man who had saved me, who had taught me how to survive, was drowning in his own storm. Redemption. The next morning, I confronted him. "You pulled me out when I was at my lowest. You think I'm just gonna watch you sink?" He laughed bitterly. "What you gonna do, Diego? Save me, I been down this road too long." I pulled out the photo of my mother. "This was all I had when you found me. You gave me more than a blanket. You gave me another shot. Don't tell me you're past saving. You're the reason I'm standing here." Something shifted in his eyes. A crack in the wall he built. It wasn't easy. Some days he disappeared for hours, even nights. But he started showing up at meetings in the church basement. He got clean meals, clean clothes. The shelter's pastor got him into a rehab program. And little by little, Marcus began to fight back. The ending. A year later, I stood outside a small carpentry shop in Brooklyn. A help wanted sign hung in the window. Inside, Marcus was showing a customer a handcrafted table, his hands steady, his eyes alive again. He caught sight of me through the glass and grinned. I thought about that night in the subway entrance. About how a stranger had given me warmth when the city was cold, hope when I had none. I had been lost. But a stranger had found me. And in helping me, he had found himself, too.